This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
Fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got everything outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Oh! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Six very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Round one was a roller coaster. Round two might prove to be slightly different. This is the Silverstone circuit of your DSL Welding Services V8 SuperCup Season 3. This is one of the tracks which you look at and say, this is the home of motor racing. This is the home of Formula One. This is an all-important race on the calendar, and on this second round, a full blast around this incredible racetrack is in the offing. We are here tonight with Silverstone, but we are going to be moving about quite a fair bit when you've got Snetterton coming up as the next round, a day before New Year's Eve, and then Oschersleben on January the 6th. You've got a very, very quick run into January, which holds a 200 over in Chicago. The likes of 200 at Bathurst on 3rd of February is going to be one to keep an eye out on. And then the Winton 200 over on the 24th of February, which leads to the Kota West finale in March. That will be the end of the season, and where absolutely everything is going to bring itself through. Let's take a little dive down then to where we are today and this Silverstone circuit, because we jump down to United Kingdom, Silverstone slap bang in the middle, London and Birmingham absolutely dissect in the middle of the country, and taking that look down, this is one very incredible racetrack. You have got yourself a circuit which, by all intents and purposes, drives fantastically. The opening sector, the right, left, right, which leads from Abbey to Farm to Village, is going to be one of the keys to this track. The two straights, the Wellington Straight and the Hangar Straight, are going to be the prime places to get moves done, but don't discount any moves coming out of Luffield through Woodcote and into Copse Corner up at the top of the circuit. That's going to be a key section of track heading past the old pit straight as drivers go by. So there is still going to be that to keep in mind as they deal with their racing action. But they will have themselves the 60 minutes of practice they've already gone through. Qualifying is going to be 30 minutes long, and the race is only 25 laps long. They'll be restricted to 3 tyre sets throughout the majority of the racing and 66.6 litres worth of fuel in the tank. So that will guarantee them the one stop that they'll be having to navigate themselves through today. So there is still a lot that they need to dive on down through, but we are in the midst of qualifying at the moment. My name is Jake Berry. So there is the number 41 Simrigs.com DPR car making a charge around the final couple of corners. Andrew Dyson currently the fastest by a fair margin at this point. It is an evening here on the 23rd of December, so field maybe slightly down from the opening round of the championship, but no surprises when it comes to that because of the early stages as they go through. I've got Jay Kennedy alongside me for the moment here. And Jay, you know, we're looking at these qualifying times. The early stages indicate that if you want to set a good precedent in this championship, you want to put your best foot forward first. And to put yourself in a position where Andrew Dyson did last time out, second place overall in the opening race, but having a qualifying effort as good as his at this point, you'll find that certain tracks suit certain drivers, and he's one who's certainly loving this Silverstone track.
He's a bit of an expert in this car, isn't he? Hello, Sperry. Hello, everyone. Brady Baldwin is on his way to come and join you in a few moments too, Sperry. But yeah, Dyson's going to be a driver to watch throughout the series. We know how good he is. We've seen him in all sorts of different V8 series throughout our time of broadcasting, and he's always there or thereabouts. I think he's won multiple races within V8 Scott's second split. There was a season where he dominated the second split, so he's definitely going to be one to watch. But there's other drivers there that are pushing in that next group that are going to be right there when it comes to race. I mean, qualifying and racing is very, very different, and fuel strategy is going to be a key in this one as well. We know that the fuel burn means that we're probably going to see the one stop, but if you can stretch that first stint out 1 extra lap, maybe 2 extra laps and someone else, that's a huge advantage come later on in the race.
It is, and we'll be seeing that advantage and how it flies through as they go through. Mulford, I believe, just jumped up now into 10th position. But on board then, on the Hangar Straight, we've seen the middle sector run. You're always trying to pick your braking zone into the fast-flowing left-hand bend, trying to get as much drive off of the exit as possible. And now you're looking towards picking that final braking zone. Watch out for that anti-cut curve on the inside. You're trying to dance your way through the club and over towards the start-finish line once again. It's a very short run to the finish line, and over the line it's a 2:01.3, so wasn't able to improve out there in times. It's Seb Varndell in second position, and third overall is Freeman. There is the number 52 of Aiden Schultz in the Southern Stars car, 18th fastest at this moment in time, trying to get some temperature into those tyres earlier on then in the lap, as a number of drivers find themselves down in the pits inside the final 5 minutes and 45 seconds, because, Brady, as you join me right now, they are just about trying to figure out their final laps to get themselves up to speed with racing action that they've got.
Yeah, certainly, Sperry. Welcome, and looks like Dyson, 7/10 of the second of the field. Fantastic effort, and only 5 minutes left to go in the session. So certainly, all these drivers will be certainly looking to put their best foot forward, put a great lap down at the end of the session, and try and top that time. But Dyson, that 1:02 minute 1.2, very good lap, and can we take some beating.
It will take some beating, that much we can definitely say, but these are the early stages still. So Brick Kuznetsov, 888, looking to try and find some time, and by finding that time, there is going to be a whole heap of help that is going to be found by doing so. This is important, though, in terms of getting that drive through the right. Copse Corner, one of the most ferocious corners, especially in this machinery out there. So Kuznetsov now really trying to get as much as possible right on the rev limiter through 5th gear. He was through that section of roads. We take a little look then at the likes of Will Jesberg out there in the 083, looking to try and put some times down. And there is a real disparity here in terms of the lap times. And we see it a lot more here at this long Silverstone 2-minute track than we would do at a smaller circuit like Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, certainly, Sperry. It's a very difficult track in these race cars. I've only done a couple laps myself, and it is a very difficult track in these big V8 touring cars, and it's hard to get right. You see Kuznetsov there at the long sweeping right-hander run wide, and looks like he's on the end of his lap trying to get a good lap in, but I reckon he's got an off-track, so that's going to be pretty null and void there, and he's about to cross the line, and his lap will not count, so he'll have to go again. And Thomas Freeman, 201.9, puts him up to P2, so great job there for the number 1 Fisher Motorsport machine.
Yeah, so Freeman getting a good job done and moving up then by about 600ths of a second up ahead. Andy Barber looking for a bit of time in the Skypoint racing car and driving around then the penultimate couple corners and over the line. Little wiggle then, trying to get some drive off, and then the 204.1 that is there for the number 5 machine is good enough to stay in 16th position, about 3 seconds off. Jamie Dyke getting a wonderful time. Malfunction at the junction, almost there, was trying to go to the inside. The driver there on the inside then pulling out of the way to try and let through Jamie Dyke, and we nearly had a big accident there on the hangar straight.
Yeah, it's only a massive moment there for Dyke in the number 80 Fisher Motorsport machine. See how much it affected his lap time as he comes across the line. Probably won't top Dyson, but a 202.0 will jump him up in the field. No, it actually won't. He'll say put, as it's very close. It's only a 10th between him and Freeman in second place. So very close for second there, but Dyson's just got it all on him at the moment.
Absolutely does. Brody Sentence will be looking for a time in the Pursuit Sim Racing car. He'll be hoping that his work will be more than enough as he goes about business. So we'll still have a chance then to improve, but they are running out of time. If they're not out on track by now, this is going to put them in a little bit of trouble for their qualifying position. And Brody Sentence's Mustang now will be looking at those runs through Magus Beckers and now Outer Chapel onto the hangar straight. You can get a surprising amount of drive on this straight, and I think it's been seen time and again just how crucial the amount of drive you can get, as now they all flick through the right-hander there of Stowe Corner and look to gear up that final section of the track. Sentence looking all right, looking composed on this lap, trying to get as much turn and pivot as much as possible in that number 60 Pursuit car and heading over towards the line. The time is only a 203.4 for Sentence. So that then is going to be ever so slightly quicker, but already you can see down in 12th place, half a second down on Swan.
Yeah, certainly, Sperry. Big gaps between their Sentence and Swan as we go to Michael Talyancic in the 777 Pursuit Sim Race Machine as he boards his lap. So a bit premature then. Teo Serrano as well in the Pursuit car. Looks like he's boarding his lap, ready to start one final run with only 40 seconds left in this session. Johnny Fillingham in the P51 SimSports machine starting his last flying lap.
Yep, so Fillingham, P51, It's really going to be trying to find some time. Crumb currently the quickest. Then in your sports category out there at this point in a number 30 car with a time that's 2.4 seconds off of the leading time of Andrew Dyson. So for Fillingham, he's going to have to try and find a little bit more room out there to jump up and gain a bit more. So absolutely flying towards then Copse Corner. And this is where you have to be switched on as a driver through this section, using all the road, checkered flag out. So this is going to have to count unless this doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, there'll be no time, and John Fillingham will be staying exactly where he is.
Yeah, certainly. And one problem that these drivers will be facing is with the Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone is the off tracks are very, very tight on the iRacing service. So any little bit of left side tyres on using all the road, you're going to get that 0x and your lap will be null and void. So unfortunately, these drivers got to keep it within the limits on their flying lap. Just one little overstep and they're done. So Fillingham coming up to end his lap and looks pretty tidy through the back section of the track. So hopefully he can improve and try and get more to the front of the super sport category.
Well, will it manage? Running around then the final couple corners and over towards the line. See what sort of time it's going to be. It's a 2:05 or a 2:04.3, sorry. So as fast as a 2:05, it's now a 2:04.3. So he finds full second in terms of that lap, and that will be really, really promising then to put that all together. Seb Varndell then will be over the line and will stay third. And the last of the few drivers, Jamie Dyke, still out there on the lap, still shadowing the 08, and it looks pretty good in terms of time, pulling over to the right-hand side, getting the communication this time, flicking through then that all-crucial corner then of Stowe and running towards the Vale and the club corner for the final time in qualifying. Is this the moment where it all gets sorted out and the one time that has been needed so desperately goes for it? Big kick of tail. It does count a 2:02.4 coming over the line, but that is everybody done. And we will take a look at the grid then and see how everybody is stacking up for this one here today around this Silverstone circuit. So it is going to be Andrew Dyson, 2:01.2, head and shoulders above the field right now. He'll have Thomas Freeman in the number one for company on the front row. Seb Varndell will go from third with Michael Whiting in fourth position. Jamie Dyke, we saw his exploits in qualifying. He'll go from fifth with Blake Delaney in sixth position overall with a 2:02.2, so already a second off the pace. Teo Sorono will start seventh with Michael Taliancic in eighth position. Tim Mulford and David Coleman will make up the fifth row overall. Luke Swan and Brody Sentence will start on row 6 of the grid with the first of your sport category drivers, Luke Crum, going from 13th and Jai Schultz in 14th position on the grid. It's then following on Ty Delaney, Andy Barber, Will Jesberg and Martin Hallinan will go on 18th position in the 028 with Matthew Shanahan and Aidan Schultz on row 10. Chris Tomlin and John Fillingham find themselves on row 11 with Jack Anderson 23rd and Troy Mortensen in the 24th position. Final couple of drivers, Rick Kuznetsov and Kobe Jordan, unable to set lap times in qualifying, so they will start from a place known as the back of the field. And Brady, they're getting themselves ready. They know what they've got. 25 laps then of worth of racing, and they've got to be set up pretty quickly to get up to speed. It's a fast-flowing turns 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, certainly a lot can happen in the first couple of corners of the track, and obviously everyone's gunning out for Andrew Dyson. He's gapped the field in qualifying 7/10, so everyone will be chasing him. A lot of Fishy Motorsport guys right behind him, and Varndell in the Pursuit car right behind. So, and even Rick Kuznetsov coming from 25th on the grid, he's one of the fastest guys in these V8 touring cars on the Sims. So, be interesting to see where the Triple Eight ends up by race end.
By race end is the key words to hear at this point, as most of the drivers now have themselves up on the grid. Who is going to run themselves forward and find the time that they want? Who is going to put 25 laps on the board, get to the end of it, and say that they have had an absolutely fantastic run out there over the course of what they've needed? This is the time that they all sit and try and put their best times forward. Those 25 laps are mega. And if they can't get themselves through, we're going to get ourselves then through the lights procedure. We're going to get us ready then for racing action. And here from Silverstone, lights are going to be on. And then by the end of action, lights will soon be out, and we soon will be racing here from what is an incredible racetrack out there. Green flag in the air, and we are underway. Everybody fanning out quite nicely then. Off of the starts, they will run to the opening corner then. Through at Abbey. They run through this fast right. It does check up a little bit. Everybody managing to make their ways through. Dyson gets a good start already. There's challenges then for about the position as they'll run in through the 17 looking pretty good. And this is the wide nature of the circuit. Someone around already in the middle of the pack, then in trouble off of the start. But everybody does manage to get through. Another spinner in the back, struggling on the cold tires on the opening section. Clean at the front, mid-pack, little squirrely, but all right.
Yeah, unfortunately, the car that was spun was the number 30 of Luke Crum. He was on pole for the Super Sport category and unfortunately got turned around. And massive moment there for the 640 of David Coleman. It's all happening here on the lap number 1.
Oh, you're saying that, and it does definitely look like troubles in the early goings, but enough room to just about get around it. So still managing to find a way through and managing to do more than enough. There is the Fishy Motorsport car then, the 60, who is already looking forward and trying to go through. So there is still a lot that can go on here. Flicking through, sorry, that's the 80 of Jamie Dyke in the Fishy Motorsport car. So that is being a pretty okay start. Started fifth, in fifth. Front cars just noted that they've got themselves the okay line. But now this is where they're going to try and take that advantage on this hangar straight. Number 4, maybe Seb Varndale's going to be the driver most looking behind at this stage in third place, but on the brakes, no real chance. The blue Fishy machine just behind of Whiting getting close, and it is stacking up here behind as everybody's looking for overtake.
Yeah, so the top 9 on the first lap have remained unchanged, but behind them has gone all out in the first couple corners there, and these mid-pack guys trying to find out where they belong in this race, and a little bit of a lock-up there for the Alco Holder machine. And as we enter lap number 1, it's been a frantic opening lap, Sperry.
Has been a frantic opening lap. Jack Anderson, the Infinity racing car, then looking to try and in that 3-1, or trying to get past the 319 there of Anderson. So there is certainly opportunities. Here's a look up the inside on the brakes, and for Brody Sentence, he is looking to try and find the full stop that gets him through. He's going to have to go the long way around turn 4. Oh, that's a fantastic move there. Knowing to carry the speed on the outside. And you know what? He might just join at this point here, as he will have himself the likes of Barber in the 5 trying to get past the leader in category there of the 07. And it's going to slide on through. That's going to put Shanahan and Delaney together on track as they will race for category lead.
Yeah, certainly, and Kuznetsov there in the background in the Triple Eight, coming from the back of the field. He's charging his way forward, already up to position number 18 as of the end of the opening lap, and he's going to go for another move on Matt Whitaker in the 823. So watch for the Triple Eight. If we get a safety car to bunch the field up, he'll be one to contend with at the end of the race. Unfortunately, Brody Sentence in the number 60 will have a drive-through penalty coming through from race control for contact on lap 1, turn 3.
Yep, so a drive-through penalty for Brody Sentence means that he is going to be flying back through the field, and that wouldn't have been what he would been asking for. He would have been hoping that it wasn't going to be the troubles for him off of the start. The second look at the virtual racing school replay, as it doesn't look like we'll be able to find what we want from it. So we'll move forward then, and it's starting to look now as if Dyson's just stretching it just a little bit out at the front. The group second on back here with Freeman. It is starting to just bottleneck up slightly, so there'll be that to contend with at this early stage. But this is the start that we're looking at. Brody Centers bogs down off of the start, so he can't really get much of a drive, but he'll come to turn 3. So through turn 1, he gets through nice and okay, but it's at 3 where the troubles really start. Flicks through the inside of 1 and thinks about, where do I go? Taps the LCR car around and heading the wrong way into the opening corner, or the opening 3 corners. It's not quite what I'd call the easiest job in the world.
Yeah, certainly, Brady said there's not really much he could have done there. There's a little bit of an innocent victim, but unfortunately he got into Crumb, spun around, and that's what the drive-through has been handing out for. But the action is going on throughout the field at the moment, and these drivers are really finding it out really hard. And Matthew Shanahan in the 17 getting passed by Koneskov, who's got a lot of damage on the left front corner, so that's probably not helping the Triple Eight too much.
No, I wouldn't have thought it was. So a little bit of damage isn't going to be that helpful here on lap 3. And they know that they've got a pretty short window in terms of pitting. I'd expect this is one of the cars to be a little bit earlier, because that will be affecting the fuel consumption out there in terms of finding that drive. Now here is Seb Varndale, 0.2 of a second. The margin then 3rd and 2nd as they race hard for position. Looks like Coleman as well has got past Swan for 10th place. But now it's about really trying to maximize the exit out of the Chapel corner. And that's what Freeman's done really well. Just covering that run onto the hangar straight, making life really difficult to find the pass. You can definitely tell that Mustang closes back to the WEMG sponsorship on the back, but not much else can be done. They will stay another lap at stasis.
Yeah, certainly. Freeman's good in the right spots and coming off the corners and into the deep braking zones. He's got a little bit of an advantage on Varndale, and Varndale's got to look behind too. He's got Whiting, Dyke, and Delaney, all Fishy Motorsport cars behind him. He's got a Fishy Motorsport car in front of him, so certainly Varndale's got it in for him at the moment, but he's doing really well to try and stay on the back of Thomas Freeman. But he's, like I said, he's got to look back as well, because Whiting and Dyke will pounce on any opportunity that comes about.
Absolutely will. And that much we can certainly say without any real dramas whatsoever. But the 0.25 there of Whiting's going to sort of stay there. But you've got the 0.8 of Delaney as well in 6th place. And that's going to be crucial in terms of sorting out what you do later on in this. So you've got that massive 5-car train, which is stacking back. And every lap that goes on, they start checking up a little bit more. It's going to be more and more that drivers are wanting to be aggressive, wanting to find overtakes, wanting to put everything together. And, you know, you've got to start thinking about when is the right time to make the right move. And these drivers all can't afford to be on the wrong side. As way out left goes Delaney, which means that he'll extend and he'll lose a little bit of time. Now, just a little bit over that anti-cut curb there goes Varndale, and that's going to put him back into the haunches of White.
Yeah, certainly it's Barry, and looks like Whiting's been right on the back of Varndale this lap, so it could be a little opportunity with the draft coming into this next corner, and Dyke right there as well, and an advantage for Whiting, Dyke, and Delaney as Whiting has a little look down the inside, can't quite get it done that time by, but Dyke and Delaney, they could be saving quite a bit of fuel here, and that could really come into the strategy play later in the race. And also, don't discount Sorono and Talianchich, not far back as well. They could join the fight very quickly.
Oh, they absolutely could. And I'm sure as they go about their business, this could be a really, really nice run for them on the brakes. And Aiden Schultz in the number 52 is now category leader with Whitaker. Oh, actually, sorry, Shanahan, now your category leader with Schultz second in category. It's actually just come in, so it's very early, lap 5. So I'm not sure what quite's gone on there for number 17, but that's a really early stop for Matthew Shanahan.
Yeah, certainly. By my calculations, we can only get about 15 laps to take a fuel. So really, we're only on lap 5, so Shanahan won't be able to make it. So very interesting strategy. Maybe he has damage, I'm not sure, but he's still in the pits. And we'll see where Shanahan pops out by race end. But back up front, Varndell still trying to get past, and looks like a bit of contact there with the 028.
Yeah, that's no good. And around then at a very, very tricky section of track there for Hallinan. That's not what you want to see happen. And then John Fillingham, so Hallinan and Fillingham then coming out of turn 4, at Aintree Corner is where the troubles all go through. Let's take a look at the Virtual Racing School replay. Exactly where this goes wrong. And well, flicking through the opening section of road, it is getting busy. 3 wide up in front into turn 3 at the village. And then all of a sudden, as they try and find themselves the room, they come through 4 and they're all tiptoeing over each other and nobody's got any drive off the exit. And it's basically a tough scenario to navigate through when nobody's got any drive and the rears just spool up.
Yeah, certainly going 3 wide on the exit of a corner is never going to work out. And unfortunately for Sentence, getting caught up in that, he's probably faster than the Super Sport guys trying to come through the field after that drive-through penalty. And unfortunately gets caught up, maybe a little bit of damage there, but just a hard racing deal, unfortunately. You know, these guys just tripping over each other just a little bit. It happens on this tight racetrack, but back to the front, Varndell. Back in P number 3, he's still holding off Michael Whiting just for now, but he's staying off the back of Freeman. So, but out in front, Dyson doing an incredible job. He's half a second quicker on that last lap than the rest of the guys behind him. And Konestov still rolling around. He's doing really good as well, up to P13 from 25th. So hopefully he can pit in as soon as the window opens, get that damage fixed, and hopefully push on for a top 10. And if a safety comes out, maybe even a top 5.
Wouldn't rule it out at this point. Here is your race. Second position, Freeman, Varndell, Whiting, Dyke and Delaney all there, but it is starting to stretch out more into the realms of Varndell's race at this point to start defending on this, and he can't afford to fall outside of about 1.2, 1.3 seconds. If he starts falling well outside the range here, Brady, he is going to be in a world of hurt because he will not have the draft to help him out on the straights.
Yeah, certainly Varndell cannot drop off the back of Freeman too much. Otherwise, he's just going to be swamped by Whiting, Dyke, and Delaney because they're within striking distance. So Varndell has to try and get the skates on here, try and stay with Freeman. He's dropping off just a little bit, 9/10 at the moment. So he's slowly falling further back and falling into the clutches of Whiting, Dyke, and Delaney.
He is starting to fall back. He is starting to get into a little bit of a pickle, but is this going to be the time where you can get that run moving forward? Is this the time where now on the brakes, through the right, you can lower the brake discs in the rear, where the overtakes now start adding up? This might be the moment that I'm sure everyone is trying to run through. Very, very shallow line, trying to open up the overtake. Not quite there from 025 of Whiting, who is trying everything to make the move, and all of a sudden that gap opens up over the line out to about 0.7 of a second, and Jamie Dyke will be going, well, hang on a minute, you've just dropped a lot of time. Can I come through, please?
Yeah, certainly. Maybe some team orders coming in from Fishy Motorsports quite soon, and the pit window will be opening the next probably 4 laps. So these Fishy Motorsport guys between Whiting, Dyke, and Delaney might alters their strategy just a little bit to try and get an equal advantage to have a go at Varndell, who is, again, dropping off the back of Freeman. So it looks like a 1-horse race up the front with Dyson, and then Freeman looks like consolidating second pretty well, and then the battle for third is pretty much a 4-horse race at the moment between Varndell and the 3 Fishy cars.
Yep, Varndell holding off a Fishy Armada at this point and trying to stay good. Takes a slightly wider line through Luffield Corner, and it's very easy through that section of track, Brady, just open up and run into a slight bit of trouble. So for those drivers who know and understand just what it takes to make Luffield happen, if you can gain any inch of track there out a little bit wider away from the curb, that's more you can square up on the exit and drive off.
Yeah, certainly. It's a very crucial part of this track in general. There's a lot of them similar characteristics on a lot of corners around this track, and looks like Whiting's just doing a little bit better at the moment. Varndell struggling with the rear at the moment, the number 4 machine, and these cars are waiting to pounce behind, and Whiting's really probably wanting to get the job done very soon. He does have a pace advantage over Varndell, but Varndell's just got enough to stay in front of these cars, and Whiting has a little look down the inside, can't quite get close enough, but Freeman in front in position number 2, just clearing out just a little bit on Vindel to give himself a little bit of security.
Yep, so that will be worth finding a chance. Still not quite there, able to make it happen. And you wonder as well whether there's an element of waiting for that pit window, and finding that pit stop might just be the difference maker today between these drivers staying in realms of place here on lap 8 or falling backwards, because Freeman's gone. He's now 1.6 seconds to the good. He's gone. Don't even think about that. Andrew Dyson, 3.3 seconds clear at the front of the field. He's not necessarily in a position where he has to be calm at this point, but at least here for third place on back is now starting to become a third place battle, and that is a big difference maker. And speaking of difference makers, we've got a good race on for 11th as Kuznetsov tries to get past the SimShed car, and on the inside will get the move done. There's not much that number 55, Luke Swan, in the Iridium Sim Sports machine really argue about that.
Yeah, certainly Kuznetsov has got a lot of pace to burn, and Triple Eight car is now up to position number 11, so he's doing a really good job. He's got Coleman and Mulford just up the road, so we'll see how far the Triple Eight does come. And as we go to Delaney and Schultz, now battling for the lead of Supersport, actually. So great little battle here between Jai Schultz and Ty Delaney, the brother of Blake Delaney in the Fitchy Motorsport 07. So good little battle here between Delaney and Jai Schultz as they battle out for the Supersport honours.
Well, this is a really, really important Supersport battle. And for Schultz, he's holding on to that at this stage, flicking through that right of Copse Corner. And there's a difference between how much curve you take on that outside. Now through the left and the right of the opening section of a lap. And number 27 is starting to just open out, stretch a little bit in terms of now getting that run. And it's all about getting nice and neat coming out then of the Chapel Corner, getting right within the toe, and now picking up as much of a run as possible. How late do you dare go on the brakes? Holden versus Holden. No chance then of making the pass. And someone who's struggling, and oh, that's a big off. That's Teo Sorono in a big off for pursuit, right up against the boundary fence in a weird place, and that will be at the final corner. What on earth has happened there?
I reckon there's some sort of hardware failure or an engine failure, possibly, for Sorono. He just pulled off the circuit with no prior warning. He's just caught out for race control. Couldn't quite hear the call, but we could be looking at a safety car, which is a very awkward time because these guys won't make it on field unless we get a massive save. So if a safety car comes out right now, it's going to be very, very interesting.
That is such an awkward place to have a moment. And now for Teo, his race pretty much over and done with. We'll see whether we get a safety car or not. So this is crucial then for Andrew Dyson's race. He is going to be monitoring what's going on. It's not necessarily the easiest track then in terms of get yourself home, but because it is such an open and expansive track, there are a lot of places out on this circuit where there are fuel saving availabilities, and that will be playing in the mind. Safety car is deployed, and this is a big moment in terms of the race. Now, who's going to gamble on the pit stop and who's going to stay out and have to make it under green conditions? This might also be one of those awkward situations where the safety car's going to be out. They're going to do a couple laps, and they're going to have to come in, not on the first lap of the safety car, but the second lap, which completely sacrifices track position.
Yeah, certainly. I think everyone's going to come in at this point with a fuel range of about 14 to 15 laps. Everyone's going to come in as we come to lap 10. Everyone's going to be fuel saving as soon as they come out of the pits, and no one can afford to not pit right now. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone maybe undercuts on fuel to try and get some track position advantage. But we'll see. Everyone diving the pits now as Andrew Dyson on the 41 will lead everyone into pit lane.
This feels like a get the fuel tank to the brim, as this is going to be a very strong battle of pit crews. Almost everybody then down in and trying to get it sorted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all there as they run through. That's a bit of nice building, and also jumping down in will be the 063. So now in on the lane. This is one of the slowest pit lanes in iRacing because of that run through. It really dissects Dyson. No worries at all. He'll go. But look at this. And 4 out of the pits. It's going to be a race he goes through. Jamie Dykes just jumped the lot.
Sebastian Valdel there has been probably one of the unluckiest blokes in sim racing. He's gone from 3rd entering the pits. He's now 6th behind all the fishy cars. So wonder if those fishy cars just got lucky with a half a second advantage in the pit stop, or did they under fuel? They got to save a little bit under the safety car, but very unlucky for Sebastian Valdel. But the fishy motorsport guys have played this to a T.
They certainly have. This time correctly, the safety car has picked up your race leader. And for Andrew Dyson, it's going to be a story that he had pretty similar to the one he had last time out last week. There is Martin Hallinan in the Twisted Key racing car. Now, this will give drivers an opportunity to jump back through this field. Like so Troy Mortensen, for example, could have an opportunity to jump through. For those drivers who didn't have maybe the best of starts, now have that ability to reset and go again. And this becomes a different style of race when you talk about it being a fuel saver compared to an out-and-out sprint that they've had moving forward. Now, I'm a little concerned that the 888 car there, just for the moment, dropped down the timing sheet slightly, so that'll be worrying on the connection front for him. But at least right now, it is John Fillingham who has got lead in category in the 151, and I don't believe he's pitted. So he's going to be one of those drivers who is looking at this going, well, I'm going to stay out, going to get track position right now. And then when it comes through with Martin Hallinan also doing the same, those two drivers, I think, are banking on the drivers behind not making it to the end on fuel.
Yeah, certainly a different strategy there for Hallinan and Fillingham in the Supersport category. But going back to the front, Knesov in the 888 machine, he's now up to position number 10. And unfortunately for him, he's still got a little bit of damage there on the left-hand front corner. But in the 888 racecraft machine, I think he can try and bag a top 5 here, because I know those fishy motorsport cars and Vindel and all them guys, Taliancic now up to position number 7. They're going to be battling very hard. So watch out for that 888 machine. He might pull something out of the bag and try and nab a top 5 from the rear.
He might do. He very much might. But Andrew Dyson now still with control of the field. Look how much he is backing everybody up. And it is a huge amount of backing up at this point along the hangar straight, trying to coast as much as possible, because that Mercedes AMG safety car is going to be pulling into the pits, and we will resume green flag running on lap 11 here of 25. And this is how much Andrew Dyson is trying to slow down this field, give himself the opportunity to drive off of the exit, and then get himself that run going forward. He wants absolutely to make it home, and every single second he can spend not going on his restart is another second he can save of fuel. Coasting down the hill. You have never asked for sim racing as exciting as this, as they now look to jostle for position. It's Dyson, Freeman, Dyke, Whiting, Delaney, your top 5 at this point. And now it becomes about, when do you spool it up? Now is the option. Driver behind is going to dive down into the pits. Mortensen is going to make the call then. Jump in and make a stop. The green flag back in the air, and we are racing here from Silverstone.
Yeah, great jump there from Dyson. Left it as late as possible, because these guys will be on the very edge of their fuel capacity by race end at lap 25. So these guys will be saving as much as they can. The most guy under threat will be Dyson. He's the leader of the pack. He can't slow down too much, otherwise he'll be under threat from Freeman, Dyke, Whiting and co. So Dyson's really got the most to lose. And as we have an incident, looks like the number 640 of David Coleman in the DC Shades Fisher Motorsport, and another spin in the background. It's all happening here off the restart.
It's all happening indeed, and Coleman won't be happy about that. That's a lackadaisical and profligate tap to his rear, and he'll know as he lunged down the inside, left the door slightly ajar, but that's just really clumsy. There into the back of the fishy car, that goes, and as simple as you like, there's no other way to say it. Around you go, and Kuznetsov getting a tap there potentially, or the racecraft car got a tap in that. So ending to drop back. So Brody Sentence, I believe, that was, who really lost the time in terms of that move. But running through now, the rights and the lefts they go. This is a really crucial point in time. These opening laps off this restart, how much of this drive can you get going? And it's at this point you say someone like Jamie Dyke, you've got to really go. And Andrew Dyson has really gone at the front. So Freeman once again in the same position. Break a second, run away.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Dyson again. Same as last week with DPR cars. I checked out just a little bit on the field already on lap 1. Purple sectors I've been reported to this lap on Dyson on fresh tyres. So he's certainly got the speed up and looks like a little bit of a pack behind, forming with the Fishy Motorsport guys 4 in a row. So we've got Freeman, Dyke, Whiting and Delaney. Then we've got Varndell, Taliancic all behind. So certainly being on for the last spots on the podium once again. But with the teammates, how hard are they going to push?
How hard indeed? The answer is that is a 2:01.8, fastest lap of the race from Andrew Dyson. That's going to tell you how hard that he's going to be pushing out there on circuit. Look at it, run back to Michael Taliancic in 7th place. So Taliancic, who is a wily character, was nowhere on the opening stints, is finding himself suddenly in the picture. And the number 777 is going to be working and trying to do an awful lot here today in this race. Try and get back through. We are now passing over towards the halfway stage, running through this Luffield corner and trying to maximize as much of the exit as possible. That then should be key. Not sure if we've still got pictures here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get back to you as soon as they do. But we've got some brilliant racing here, Brady, that's going through. And it's up and down the order because it is also getting a little bit dicey with Ty Delaney and back.
Yeah, certainly there's battles throughout the field, and Ty Delaney, in position of 15, I presume he is leading the Supersport category, other than John Fillingham, who we believe has not pitted quite yet in the number 151. So Ty Delaney currently leading that Supersport category. Brody Senton's behind him. He's in the Super Pro category. He served his drive-through early in the race, so he's on the fight back at the moment. But Will Jesberg, the i3 machine, he's trying to come after Delaney for that Supersport race lead.
I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, for the loss of pictures. We'll get them back as soon as possible here in this race. You do have the timing tower. Keep an eye out on where everyone is. And, of course, the 5 of Barber will trouble. Luke Crum will have Christopher Tomlin for company. And for Tomlin, he'll move through and he will gain an extra position. Matthew Shanahan trying to get a look in, but that's not happening. Into the pits will come Tim Mulford. I believe this is a penalty out there. He's been given the black flag and he's down the pits, but there is the number 80, Jamie Dyke, still trying to get past Thomas Freeman. Not going to be an easy task, mark my words. They are 3 teammates, 2nd, 3rd and 4th position. And when you've got Blake Delaney as well, who's trying to find out whether he can make a way through in 5th as the 4th at the fishy line, you got to wonder for the 2 pursuit cars in 6th and 7th, whether you want to try and find one place at a time or whether you want to start really upsetting the apple cart here. And it's going to be really difficult in terms of how they want to make these passes, Brady, because if they do decide they want to coordinate, they can make life so difficult for the pursuit machines.
Yeah, they certainly could. I know these fishing guys, they're probably talking in their Discord right now and trying to plan this out. And Freeman, he's doing a good enough job leading this pack, but most of these guys, there's trainer 5, 6 cars. They're pretty much nearly all the same speed at the moment. The more they back up and fight each other, Koneskov is coming in the background, and surprisingly enough, Koneskov was quicker than all of those guys in that field combined, other than Andrew Dyson. So the Triple 8 is on a tear at the moment, and the more these guys battle, the Triple 8 will be another car onto this pack, and certainly could provide some great racing in the final 13 laps.
Well, the one thing as well is the number 1's being hung out to dry at the front of the field. Big lunge by Varndell up the inside of Blake Delaney. Will Delaney have to drive off the exit? No, that is a magical, magical move. Varndell deciding, right, that's it, pull the pin. Time to go and make it happen. And now he'll just have to set up, try and find the move on Michael Whiting. And he'll have to do it one at a time in order to move up and gain place. It is also going on a little bit further down with Ty Delaney still, who is second in class, because as Aiden Schultz now is your leader in category and is trying to break away in the Southern Stars car, Brody Sentence is trying to get back through, and this becomes a very quarreling conundrum of whether you let through Brody Sentence or not. Sentence will try and make the run into the opening corner, go on the brakes. You're going to have to leave the room. Thank you very much. And car 85 will be getting a drive-through penalty, and we've had that as confirmed for the contact with the 640 on lap 11, turn 4. So we've seen that. It's already been served, and that then will be Mulford then all the way right down towards the rear of the field. So more work to be done, but look at this train as they go through Luffield. This is where you need the drive, and Jamie Dyke all of a sudden finds himself the driver under pressure because Michael Whiting's lost out to Seb Varndale now.
Yeah, certainly. Varndale is on an absolute tear at the moment. He came out, unfortunately, the worst of the group after those pit stops, and he's right on the back. He's up to position number 4 now, right on the back of Dyke, sorry. So Varndale has a lot of speed to show at the moment. He's right on the back of Dyke. Don't be surprised, if there's a move coming up at the end of this long straightaway.
Well, he's got to get the run here, but Dyke is able to pull out about a half a car length then off of the exit of the corner. So it's going to allow Varndale the opportunity to make the move, but it's going to be tougher because he didn't have that much of a run. And in fact, it might be a tough position where he backs off of it compared to Freeman. And once more, Varndale sends one deep at the inside and says, thank you very much. And he almost catches Freeman unawares. Is he going to think about that move? No, he's going to bottle himself up, and they're all going to trip over each other. And now all of a sudden, Kuznetsov is on the back of this pack as well, and it's getting really, really dicey. I think the Fishy drivers are running to a number.
Yeah, I certainly think so. It looks like Varndale just a massive pace advantage over the Fishy cars after the restart, which he didn't really have before the safety car. So, like you said, Sperry, potentially the Fishy cars running a little bit lower fuel than they used to jump Varndale in the pits. They could be a little bit at risk at the moment, and like you said, Kuznetsov now right on the back of the train, so is Taliancic. So this has become a massive, about 7-8 way fight for P number 2 at the moment.
Varndale still looking for that drive off of the exit. Andrew Dyson is 7 seconds to the good and then some at this point on the Wellington Straight, looking towards Brooklands as a corner of opportunity. Nothing yet. That's just behind. It starts to get a little close for Blake Delaney, trying to maybe open up a chance and go through. Nothing quite there at this point on the exit. Now heading to Woodcote Corner and passing the old pit building, heading towards Cox Corner. Nothing really there, but this is where every position matters. And for Rick Kuznetsov, he's got one. Michael Taliancic, he's managed to pick off then on the run through, and the way he was able to do that was Taliancic, I think, may have had a slow down penalty. Now, an unsafe rejoin for car 55 will be a drive-through penalty. So that'll be Luke Swan, who's got one of those. But now through, all of a sudden, Jamie Dyke's going, well, hang on a minute. You can make all the progress you like going forward. I might like to try and get one back. This is going to be an important drive on this straight. Here comes the chance then. Is he going to box him in? Try and make this move? Oh, this is going to be incredible. 3 wide. They'll go through the corner. And it's ping pong. And all of a sudden, pushed out is Thomas Freeman. He's going to drop 5 places in one corner.
Yeah, certainly unlucky there for Thomas Freeman. Just looks like Varndale came onto the right rear corner there of Dyke as the rear just kicked out on the number 80 machine. And unfortunately, Thomas Freeman's dropped back from P number 2 to about P7-8, so unlucky for the number 1 machine. He really did nothing wrong there whatsoever, hanging around on the outside, gave all the Varndale and Dyke the room, but unfortunately he was the biggest loser out of that, and so Varndale and Dyke will go at again for position number 2.
So for Sebastian Varndale, he did everything right, and he still finds himself stuck behind a Fishy car. What's his luck at that point? The move then goes through for Rick Kuznetsov, who gets the pass done down the inside at turn 3, and he finds that move done. Now, Aiden Schultz is going to be a drive-through penalty as he goes through, and that's going to be not necessarily what was wanted there from car number 52, who's had to make that trundle down through the lane. and back out and away again. And Luke Swan has also joined in that effort. So a number of drivers caught out there. So Schultz and Swan with the drive-through penalties. And that will actually move Swan out of the leader category there, Brady, and put Ty Delaney back in control in 12th place with Will Jesberg just behind.
Yeah, certainly the battle on again for Supersport, Ty Delaney and Will Jesberg, like you said, but back to the front, Dyke, Vandal, Whiting, they're all nose to tail once again, and Vandal will be looking for the big move at the end of the straight. Dyke will be looking to defend, and Rick Neskov in the background, he's trying to hold off Blake Delaney, so watch out for that Triple A machine. He's been on a tear all race, 25th up to position number 5, as Vandal has a little look down inside, can't quite get it done. He's right on the back there of Dyke, and these guys are going hammer and tong for the last sort of 9 laps, and it's going to be a fantastic finish, Sperry.
Oh, it is. Whiting getting a little bit deep on the brakes, and he'll have to compromise the line then through the club corner as they will now drive off of the exit and try and make something of it. Still, there is going to be questions right now for Seb Varndell. He's going to have to try and work out the right way to make the pass, flicking through the left end of turn number 2. Thank you there, phone, for going off. But still, Seb Varndell looking for it. He might get a drive at 4, and if he had the commitment to go for it at the inside, I think he would have had that there. He had an amazing run, would have given him a chance, but at least then wasn't quite enough. Still, though, gets an absolutely sensational run, moving through on the inside onto the Wellington straight, but it's going to choose to back out of it. I think Varndell's toying a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly looks like in the last couple of corners at least, Vandal, a little bit of rear tyre life over Dyke. Maybe Dyke just used up his rear tyres just a little bit after that safety car barrier, and Vandal looks like a little bit of advantage. As I say that, has a little wiggle coming onto the straight, and looks like Vandal just has a little bit of pace to burn, and Whiting sticking right with him too. So look for Vandal in the number 4 machine to have a look at the back straight once again. And he's right on the back of Dyke, so Jamie's got to have his defences up and try and hold off the number 4 machine.
Well, he absolutely will, as they'll now flick through Maggots, now through Beckett's, the big left-hander, and then Chapel Corner, which is next, and look at how close it's going to be. Pretty much shadowing is the number 4, and now all of a sudden you can see the scraping on the left-hand side. There'll be a little bit of damage there after the hit that went on through, but now here comes the chance. Where do you find the move? You said Varndell. I think he's going to try and wait this one out, you know. Not going to make the move right now. I think he's known. He's been very aggressive through the opening stages of that run after the restart and the pit stop. I think he's going to have to save a little bit, and maybe he uses a couple laps just to settle himself back down and say, well, I'm not going to make the move. I'm just going to sit back there. I'm just going to wait, and then I'm going to spring the trap. Then I'm going to go and make that pass. That might be what is the thought process at this stage. Heading towards turn number 1 once again. And again, nothing quite there. Varndell going to struggle in the wake. And look how much time you can lose in the wake there. Couple tenths of a second gone just by blinking.
Yeah, certainly Vandal. I think he's just buying his time. Still 8 laps left in the race. And at Silverstone, a 2-minute plus lap. It is a long way to go in this race. So I think Vandal's just buying his time, waiting for the perfect opportunity to make the move, as he has a little run again on Dyke, but he's going to go switch to the inside and see if he can get him under brakes. Big move coming for Vandal, gets it done on the number 80 and move Vandal in position number 2. Remember, we're coming to the back straight. Dyke will again have the toes, so we've got to make sure that Vandal puts his car in the right position and try and hold on in position number 2.
Well, it's all right making the moves. You now got to hold station, and for Sebastian Varndell, he's got 2 options. Either he's got enough fuel and he can run away with it, or he doesn't have enough fuel and he's going to have to stay with these drivers. And that's not going to be what he wants to do. Michael Whiting, we go on board with, running through Copse Corner, and he'll be looking to try and, oh, a little wiggle there from Jamie Dyke. The small pangs of oversteer through Copse Corner starting to be evident then. Trying to run through. This is a car which is a bucket of wet fish at the best of times, knowing that you're trying to go through. You're wrestling with it every single corner. You're never quite sure what it's going to do.
Yes, only these cars so very unpredictable. The big V8 touring cars. And it looks like Dyke might be under a little bit of pressure here from his teammate Mocha Whiting, who's getting the hurry up from Kneskov. Kneskov down the inside of Whiting, gets the move done just about. He will clear him on the exit of the corner, put him up to position number 4 from P25. And he's going to look Dyke already. So fantastic driving from Kneskov in the 888 machine.
Well, that was a case of eat or be eaten. You couldn't afford to lift there, really. If you were Michael Whiting, you had to be a little bit deeper through the corner. And Kuznetsov, sensing there's a podium on from 25th, now knows it's his chance. Thinks about the inside at turn 1. He's going to have to back out of it there. Jamie Dyke had it covered all the way. Didn't quite have the overlap to make it happen, but getting a run through 2 there at the farm. And now down at the village to sell his wares. Rick Kuznetsov now has himself a podium.
Kneskov, a fantastic drive there. Checks up Dyke a little bit there on exit to make sure he gets the job done. And what a fantastic drive, like I said, for the 888 machine of Kneskov. 25th on the grid, pretty much dead last. He's up to now position number 3, and he will charge after Varndell, I'm sure. So, fantastic drive from the 888 machine. And we haven't even talked about Andrew Dyson, the 41, last time by 11.6 seconds he has on the field. What a fantastic drive from the simrigs.com DPR machine, continuing on their form once again from last weekend Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that form is really good, and now it starts checking up. Freeman, Talianchis, Blake Delaney all of a sudden finds himself on the wrong side of things. And now the back of the train's going to get a little bit out of shape because they know that if they're not making moves, they're not charging forward, well, Vardel's going to go, Kuznetsov's going to go, and then suddenly Podium's going to go. So they're going to have to start going now, otherwise they're not going to get a chance at all, and that's why they're starting to get themselves a little bit scraggly around the edges as they go about their race. Do want to keep an eye out, though, on the lead battle in sport, because you've got Delaney now dealing with Will Jesberg for trouble, but there's the 025 having a little thought. Not going to get there, but through the S's comes along Jesberg. Really aggressive line, trying to take as much as possible out of it. Get that drive off the exit. This is an all-important run right now. Ty Delaney's really going to look in the mirrors. And don't count out, in 3rd place, Christopher Tomlin.
Yes, only a 3-way battle here as we look. Will Jesberg down the inside on the overset machine of Ty Delaney, side by side, going through the corner. Will Jesberg clearing on the east of the corner. Looks like Delaney has the inside run to the next corner. Jesberg under brakes around the outside, gets the job done. The 083 machine of Jesberg takes the lead now. Super Sword Delaney will be right back on his rear bumper. In Christopher Tomlin, the 212 machine, and Luke Crum right behind the number 30 machine, his teammate. There's going to be a 4-way battle here for the lead of Super Sport right now.
And they've only got 6 laps to figure this out between them. So who has got the nerves of steel that is going to hold them on? Well, Will Jesberg, we can see, has nerves of concrete at this point in time, mainly because of the concrete sponsorship that was on his rear spoiler as he went on through. Suddenly Delaney having to defend through turn 4, opens it up. Mistake in front, though, by Jesberg. Gets himself a little bit of trouble. The problem with concrete is that it's very, very brittle and it's worth breaking at time to time. So that brings Ty Delaney back to the inside on the Wellington straight, and that's going to bring him back through. Thoughts of a move there from Tomlin, who was in 2 minds of it, and suddenly his teammate Luke Crum, who was the fastest driver in qualifying in category, suddenly thinks, well, hang on a minute, I could get myself a victory here. I can get myself back to where I need to be.
Yes, and we've seen some fantastic battles up the front of the pro category earlier in the race, and now it's the Super Sport guys going at it. Delaney and Jesberg swapping the lead twice on that last lap, and Delaney looks like just checks out just a little bit on Jesberg, and then the 2 teammates, Tomlin and Crum, battling for P number 3, so these guys will be going hammer and tong. This time by will be 5 laps to go for these drivers, so, and don't forget, Crum was also spun out on lap 1 from Brody Senton, so Crum has had a fantastic recovery to get back in P4 in class.
He absolutely has, but the pace is certainly there from Delaney, who once again tries to extend away. Here will come Will Jesberg to the inside. It's only a look, but it's a passing glance at this stage. Don't need to throw the big haymakers at this point. Christopher Tomlin will just sit and wait and knows that there is a right time to strike and make a move, but it's not right now. There is still a little bit longer. The white and green stays in progress, but let's take this chance right now and move up to second position overall, because Seb Varndel's going to have his hands in a bit of trouble right now, because that is Rick Kuznetsov who has caught up to the back of him, and now Triple Eight knows to go from 25th to second. All he's got to do is wait for one opportunity to arise.
Yeah, so in that last time by Kuznetsov was 7/10 quicker than Varndell in the number 4 machine, so he's certainly got a massive pace advantage, and other than Andrew Dyson, he was the quickest car on the track, so Kuznetsov in the Triple Eight race car machine, he's certainly going to be looking on the back of Varndell in the next lap or two, try and get that job done for position number 2, and behind him, all the fishy guys, Dyke, Whiting, and Delaney, still right in tow, trying to close the gap back to Kuznetsov, but they just got a massive pace advantage at the moment. They can't really do anything about it.
They're stuck at about a second back, and it continues on because now going through, I believe there is Christopher Tomlin making the pass then in sport, and it was side by side. Look at this, from 3 leagues back. The brake disc glowing from Will Jesberg. He wants race control to have a look at this, but I think it's about just as close as John Cleland had back in the 90s. There was nothing in that, really, as they went through. He'll feel aggrieved that there is a sensor netcode there as well. There was nothing really in it as Jesberg had to deal with Ty Delaney, so he'll feel hard done by Yes, but there's not really much more you could really argue about that. He was stuck in the position. Kuznetsov continuing to just stay quiet here with Seb Varndell, but his strong section, Kuznetsov, is this opening sector.
Yeah, going back to the Jesberg, unfortunately just a little bit of contact there side by side, bit of hard racing, and unfortunately for Jesberg, he's dropped back a position, but going back to Varndell and Kuznetsov still on the back of Varndell, hasn't quite got the job done yet. Last time by, they were equal speed on that last lap, so I think Kuznetsov just waiting for the right time to get past Varndell and move forward to position number 2, and the more he holds back, the more Dyke and Whiting get back into the picture for position number 3, so it'll be interesting the last couple of laps.
Oh, they crossed the beams right at the back, and that'll be trying to get through Freeman, and on top of that, Delaney goes through on Michael Whiting. All over still it is, and trying to get it through Luffield corner. Is there enough drive on the exit? There is. Taliancic can't do anything about it. Thomas Freeman jumps back into 7th place, but back up and under at Woodcourt. Hello. Let's go for the move then at Copse Corner, fastest corner on the circuit. Freeman's going to try and go for the track extend. He's going to get the power down slightly earlier, and now they're costing each other a lot of time in this group. Through the lefts and rights, Taliancic forced to yield, but Freeman understeers out wide, and now they're really costing each other time then as they go through. Kuznetsov all of a sudden then, with 3 and a little bit laps to go, is still going to be patient, still going to have to wait, but does he go from a light year back to make the pass? No. Varndell's still good enough on the brakes, still very much a match for Triple Eight.
Yeah, certainly Varndell is doing a fantastic job. It looks like Kuznetsov a couple laps ago had a massive pace advantage on the number 4 machine of Varndell, and Varndell just kept him stationary the last couple of laps. He's doing a really good job keeping him behind, so we'll see as we approach 3 laps to go. Let's see if the number 4 machine can hold off position number 2. He did a fantastic drive last week, and we'll see if he can hang on for another podium as Taliancic on the inside of Freeman there. A little bit of contact between 777 number 1 machine, and Taliancic gets the job done.
Yeah, and Freeman on the blower to race control about it, but there's nowhere really that Taliancic could have gone, and that's going to go through. No further incident called between Jesberg and Ty Delaney, but this is the move then, and you can see, going to go through. He's going to try and hang him out on the outside. Now, you could argue maybe that Taliancic should yield because he's got nowhere to go, but at the same time, he's always had an overlap there, and so he is entitled to some racing room.
Yeah, certainly. I think just a bit of hard racing there between the 777 number 1 machine as we go back to the battle for Super Sport honours. Ty Delaney and Christopher Tomlin now battling for the Jesberg. Was only leading a couple laps ago. He's now to position number 4 as Tomlin around the outside. These guys will go side by side into the next corner, and Tomlin looks like he's got the pace around the outside. Runs a little bit wide. Delaney will be right there. And watch out for Luke
Give him a
Crum.
bump.
After getting spun early in the race, will now look for the lead. These guys going side by side. This Super Sport category is putting on some fantastic racing.
Oh, has to cover the line off as well. Running through the two LCR cars then of Tomlin and Crum were trying to work together to make the pass on Ty Delaney. Delaney was having none of it on the brakes, holding everybody away at bay. And all of a sudden, you're going to have to find something even more ingenious than that, Christopher, if you want to make that pass. Through Copse Corner they go, and here's Kuznetsov trying to get the pass on Varndale. He's got the inside, heading through to the Vale and Club Corners. On the brakes he goes. Varndale's going to pinch him on that inside, and he's going to try and go for the massive up and under. Tries to cover it off on the inside. Brilliant blocking there by Varndale. Covers every inch of road with 2 to go.
Yeah, certainly Varndale is making his car as wide as possible, that number 4 machine for Pursuit Sim Racing. You can see Kuznetsov has a little bit of a pace advantage. He's trying to get the job done on Varndale, but he's really having a look down the inside once again. Pokes his nose, can't quite get the job done. It's Delaney, massive lock up behind. Will lose a spot there to Michael Whiting, his teammate, as he tried to get the job done on the 80 machine of Jamie Dyke. So unfortunately for Delaney, will lose 1 spot, only to P6, but Kuznetsov, another run on Varndale. Coming down the straight, he'll look like down the inside. Varndale covers. These guys are putting on a fantastic show.
And you thought for a moment that Blake Delaney was going to think there's a podium. They're battling so hard. They've brought Jamie Dyke back into it. And now the group's going to have to work again. They've got a lap and a half, and it's still on as well with Delaney and co. And it's going to get even more busy. And now it's Aidan Schultz, who'd just come back from a drive-through penalty, has had a big spin coming through the exit of 3 going to 4, and that will put his victory process on hold as he goes through. Jesberg's just gone around as well, as Varndale now finds himself still in the haunches with Rick Kuznetsov, and they're going to be going all the way to the end of this race. So Will Jesberg's had a big moment out on track, Brady.
Yes, only unfortunately for Jesberg, that 4-way battle for the Supersport victory. Jesberg just lost the rear just a little bit, as we'll see on the VRS replay. He just loses the rear then on this fast left-hander, just loses the rear. Big moment for the 083. Massive moment for the Iridium SimSports machine. Good save though. He only lost a couple of positions, but unfortunately takes him out of the battle for the Supersport victory as we go back to live pitches. Kuznetsov trying again on Varndale as they come to the white flag. Dyson is in another zip code at the moment, but Varndale and Kuznetsov going at it for position number 2.
18 seconds, the margin at the front for Andrew Dyson. He has been flying away from this field. Seb Varndale, Rick Kuznetsov, though, for second position. This is exactly where it's at. Running through Farm Corner, heading now towards Village at turn 3. Kuznetsov trying to open every corner up right now, and Varndale very defensive, trying to hamper every line. He's going to get pushed through the corner now by Kuznetsov. Kuznetsov wants this, absolutely would love this. Gets a fantastic drive through Aintree Corner. He's going to open up to the inside on the Wellington Straight, here towards Brooklands. Can he find the line that opens up that second position? Varndale's been trying so much, but he can't get any turn, but Kuznetsov runs deep, and suddenly on the outside, Varndale is going to try and run it all the way at Luffield Corner. Can he get some overlap on the exit? No, but he's still got a chance here. Kuznetsov not out of the woods. Remember, he's got the damage to the front right. Delaney and Crum now starting to change for position as well. So it looks like Tomlin has had a drive through penalty. So Tomlin's gone through, and it's now Luke Crum, leader in category in Supersport. So Luke Crum now worth keeping an eye out on. Still though, they'll have those runs. There is number 41, Andrew Dyson, who is your race leader, has not been challenged today, has been on a different, plainer level compared to everybody else, running through the penultimate corners then, as he will take himself to the Vale and Club Corners for the final time. He will call himself, as he runs through the right and the left and the right, the race winner here at round 2 and championship leader as he goes through. Big drift to say that Simrigs.com DPR are the team to beat, because Netsov is going to take an almighty lunge here for Varndell to make the pass, and Varndell doesn't quite get there. So unless there's some moment off the exit, which there isn't, Rick Kuznetsov, hats off. What a second place that is.
Yeah, it's certainly a massive effort there for Kuznetsov, coming from P25 pretty much to the back of the field up to position number 2, fought through all the Super Sport cars and all the Super Pro cars, and fantastic drive there. The safety car certainly helped his efforts as we go to live pictures of Luke Crum in the number 30 machine. Ty Delaney, second place in class for Super Sport. Now looks like he's out of fuel. Luke Crum, his teammate Christopher Tomlin was the leader last one by. He had to pit for fuel. So will Crum make it to the finish as we go see David Coleman go to the pits on the last lap?
Oh,
it looks like number 30 of Luke Crum will take Super Sport victory, and fantastic drive. As we said earlier, he got spun out on lap number 1. He's charged back through the field. He'll finish 12th overall, and he will take the win in Super Sport. So fantastic effort for Luke Crum.
Oh, he took the place of Andy Barber to David Coleman. That's incredible. So Andy Barber, by going in the pits, David Coleman's gained 2 places.
That will certainly have to be looked at after the race, Barry, because I think that would be very controversial. I just seen that, Barry, as you said that. So these guys also out of fuel. So it looks like everyone, like we said earlier in the race, when we had the safety car, everyone would be very tight on fuel. As we see, Luke Swan will make it in P23, and a lot of these guys, as we've seen, even Christopher Tomlin, he pitted 1 lap early and he made up a few spots just because everyone ran out on the last lap completely. So a wild race, but credit to Andrew Dyson, number 41 machine, absolutely smoked the field tonight. He was another zip code, but shout out to Rick Koneskov, number 888 machine. He drove, like we said, from 25th up to 2nd, and Sebastian Vardell put on a great race with him, and credit to those guys for putting on a fantastic show for us all to watch.
Andrew Dyson, number 41, picking up the victory, 53 minutes, 29 seconds, winning by a margin of 19 over Rick Kuznetsov, who made the pass on Seb Varndell, who ended up in 3rd place. Jamie Dyke would finish up in 4th, just behind them half a second, with Blake Delaney finishing 5th and Michael Whiting in 6th position. Thomas Freeman will finish 7th with Michael Taliancic 8th, Brody Sentence in 9th, and playing the game, diving down into the pits on the final lap with an almighty lunge, David Coleman rounds out the top 10 of the field. He's got it slowed down at the box. Andy Barber will be very hard done by in 11th. His top 10 stolen away by 0.4 of a second, with Luke Crum in 12th position and Ty Delaney in 13th. Luke Crum, your winner overall in Super Sport in the Mustang. Matt Whitaker would be 14th, with Will Jesberg 15th, and a lot of drivers struggling with fuel late. Tim Mulford, Josh Schultz 16th and 17th, Chris Tomlin having to pit for fuel, Matthew Shanahan and Aiden Schultz with a big spin there, costing him late on in the race. And then we're running through the final finishers. Jack Anderson, Martin Hallen, and they're running out of fuel. Luke Swan crawling over the line with about 20 kilometers an hour left. Kobe Jordan and John Fillingham, the last finishers, and no finishes for either Troy Mortensen or the cause of the caution, Teo Sorono, not getting much luck in all of that. But we are here with our post-race interviews, and we'll get the chance now to talk to our race winner, number 41, Andrew Dyson, who is alongside me for a little bit of conversation right around now. Andrew, that is as dominant gets. You're half a second clear, 6/10 clear of everybody in qualifying, and then by the time it gets to the race, no one could live with your pace there. You were just managing the gap early, safety car comes out, and after the safety car, whoomp, see ya.
Yeah, thanks, man. I like this track, mate, and I think it shows a bit. I've done a fair bit of racing here and had some fun in the past, so yeah, that certainly helps.
Certainly helps. You will take the championship lead coming out of here, so a championship leader heading to Christmas. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess. I mean, it's early days in a league like this, though. It's hopefully I can make all the races and make something of it, but yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed indeed. It is staying in the United Kingdom for the next round on the 30th. So your thoughts then on Snetterton as a track to challenge to next. It's going to be some similarity here to this Silverstone track, but the big difference is that although they're both airfields, it's maybe a little bit more technical when it comes to Stetson.
Yeah, certainly a little more technical, but the big drama for me is I've never really raced there, not on iRacing anyway. I think the last time I raced there was a console game, so finding my way around there will be the biggest challenge to begin with, but I'm sure I'll be able to get my head around it, and I'll try to do my best.
Well, the floor is yours, Andrew. Shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you at DPR?
Well, thanks to all the guys at Global that put the league on. Thanks to you guys at SimSpeed for putting on the broadcast. That's super cool. Thanks a lot. And yeah, quick shout out to all the boys at DPR, Simmons.com, Southwell from Hoyts, Bemex Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, and MP Designs for the sick paint jobs.
Andrew Dyson there joining us. Race Victor overall getting it absolutely fantastically done. Brady Baldwin, you've taken a walk down the virtual pit lane. I believe you found the driver who finished off in 3rd position overall, that being Sebastian Varndale.
Sebastian, what a fantastic race between you and Rick there at the end. How did you find that battle with the Triple Eight machine?
Oh, the battle with Rick was awesome. Probably one of the best battles I think I've had in a supercar so far. But looking back at it, I probably shouldn't have tried it around the outside, like to hold it there. I mean, you probably do it on like new tires, but old tires, I don't think I had any hope. So I probably should have defended there looking back. But yeah, it was an awesome battle with Rick.
We've certainly seen earlier in the race between 4 fishy cars as well, playing with yourself. How tight were you on field at the end? We've seen a few cars running out back in the field. How tight were you on field?
I was very tight. I mean, I had probably saved a little bit too much because I saved quite a lot at the start of the stint, so I could try and push away from get past the fishy boys and then try to pull a gap. But which happened, and then yeah, Rick's, I don't know, don't know where he came from, but he had some good pace tonight, and yeah, got me in the end.
Yeah, Charlie, so fantastic effort for you, P3 from P number 3. Who would you like to thank? Any sponsors and shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, massive shout out to the team Pursuit Sim Racing and the sponsors V&M Simulations and Sideways Photography, and a big shout out to my sim racing and go-karting sponsors Strata Core, Hard Metals, Drillers World Australia, DSL Welding Services, Shockwave Signs, and Lakes Custom Computers.
Thank you, Seb, and congrats on position number 3, as we'll head back to Jake Sperry. He'll interview the winner of Supersport, Luke Crum.
I certainly will, and Luke is here along with me right now. Luke, a victory for you in category. Looked absolutely crazy in the last 5 laps or so. You were 4th at one stage, and then suddenly you were 3rd, suddenly you were 2nd, then you find your teammate pits, and you're out there in the lead, and with only a couple laps to go, it seemed like you were the one who was going to hang on with everyone else struggling with fuel drama.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I just sort of sat there. I didn't do anything too crazy because I sort of wanted to see how the fuel game played out, and yeah, I was able to sort of make a couple of little moves and get in the lead. And yeah, after the mischief on turn like lap 1 with me, I was set back a bit, but that safety car definitely helped me out.
Well, the safety car certainly did help, and from the entirety of the team, it looked like that everyone had a bit of work to do. With the amount of battling that was there in the late stages, was it just a case in terms of how you approached it that everyone's holding everyone up, so just fight for as much real estate as you can? Or were you looking at it like, okay, well, there's 3 of us in the team, or there's 2 of us in the team who can go through. There are a lot of quick drivers behind who can try and close down in. The likes of Aiden Schultz was charging back like a freight train in that race. Was that just for you, just a case of, well, okay, we've got numbers here, so let's just be sensible about it and not risk the race?
Yep, 100%. Yeah, so the lead team car had the window to go, and then once he realised that he wasn't going to be able to do it and be able to make it on fuel, he let me through. So we were letting the lead car, give them the benefit of the doubt, give them the first crack at it. But yeah, it was a bit of a team effort. But there, just good communication within the team.
Good communication in the team, certainly there. And let's talk about communication for next week, because it will be Snetterton where we'll be jumping over to next. So very similar in many respects to Silverstone, not maybe as fast, but still a really, really strong British circuit go out there and race. What's your thoughts on Snetterton now as you head to round 3 of the championship?
Yeah, it's I've always sort of struggled at that track. I always seem to never really get good rhythm there, but I'm really keen to get there. You know, me and the team will probably work pretty hard through the week on some tunes and some strategy, and yeah, hopefully we come out 1, 2, 3 in the Super Sports.
Well, maybe that will happen, maybe that won't. Who knows? We'll find out in a week. Before we let you go, Luke, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, no worries, guys. Yeah, I'd really like to thank Inside Lane Productions, On Track Ag, Matt's Car Care, Staunch Bull Bars, and Karcher and On Track Ag. Oh yeah, J-Tune, sorry. So yeah, thanks heaps, guys, and thanks for commentating and broadcasting.
No worries at all. Luke Crum picking up victory in Super Sport then and getting that fantastically done. You got the other side of the battle though, Brady. Rick Kuznetsov is stood by with you.
Rick, fantastic battle. As we'll say in the broadcast, you started position number 25 after not setting up in qualifying, up to position number 2. Fantastic driver. How did you find the race out there?
It was good fun. I enjoyed the battles I had. Preparation was a bit, how you going? I decided to do the race 10 minutes prior to quality, and I didn't know what track it was, but got it on pretty good, so it was a good fun night.
Yeah, it always helps having minimal preparation, and that battle with Sebastian Varndell at the end was absolutely epic on the broadcast. Describe how you went about that battle and how you eventually got the job done on him.
Yeah, so I was trying to, we had to save fuel as well with the early safety car, so I was trying to stay behind him for a bit, trying to save fuel, and then decided to strike him. He fought hard, which was good. He's my old teammate as well, so it was respectful driving, and ended up getting in the last lap, I think, second last lap.
Yeah, it certainly was a fantastic battle. As we look forward to next week at Snetterton, another British track. How do you find Snetterton on the iRacing service?
I actually enjoyed a lot in the Porsche Cup cars back in the day, but I don't think I've driven supercars around there. Oh, actually, I think I have actually once. So it's a fun track, tight circuit, so it should be good fun.
Awesome, Rick. Thank you. And while we got you, any sponsor shout outs you want to give, and before we let you go?
Yeah, sweet. I'd like to thank Racecraft Simulations, Turning Race Apparel, RSW Graphics, Racing Ears, Cutting Edge Tracks, RB Media, and FU Suicide.
Thank you, Rick, and congratulations on position number 2, as we'll head to Jake Sperry for our wrap-up of the broadcast.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, no worries at all there. Rick Kuznetsov. We called him mid-conversation in second, and there is the tree that is no longer there, the Wilson Memorial tree out there, and what an incredible sight it will be to head to Snetterton, round 3 of the championship. It's a very simple drive. It's about a 2 hours drive over from Nottingham over to Norfolk, but this is going to be where the third round is. 8:15 p.m. AEDST. Make sure you're joining us for that. And really is a circuit, Brady. This is about as committed as it gets. That opening corner of Riches is so fast, but it's one of those really unique circuits where it just completely folds in on itself.
Yes, certainly the drivers are going to be in for a challenge. Silverstone this week was going to be a challenge, and Snetterton next week at the 200 layout, a fantastic layout for these cars. But like you said, turn 1, turn 2, a very tight corner, so it's going to certainly put on some fantastic racing and hopefully a lot of overtaking opportunities as well for these drivers. So yeah, be sure to join in on the broadcast next week. Like you said, Friday, December 30th, 8:15 daylight savings time. It's certainly going to be a crack of a race.
It absolutely is. It is also going to be one of our last races here with SimSpeed TV for 2022. So all the more reason to join in for the fun. But here with the DSL V8 SuperCup, want to give a massive thanks to DSL Welding Services, Inside Lane Production, and SVR Images helping to bring some fantastic performance over to the SimSpeed TV presentation. As well, we'd like to thank the Virtual Racing School who have been on the replays for us once again, from Brady Baldwin and of course our director Jay Kennedy, who stepped in for a very nice sentence or two in the very early beginnings. My name's been Jake Sperry. Andrew Dyson, head and shoulders, takes a commanding championship lead and will walk the line forward as he is champion at Christmas, or championship leader at Christmas, I should say. But the pack is swarming behind. There is a fishing army trying to get itself closing in. But there is still a long, long way to go. We'll see you next week because we'll be racing over at Snetterton.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.